Welcome back. Is this 23mm f1.4 version 2, the RLMWR? I think I said it right, RLMWR. Yes, I said it right. Is this a worthy successor to the much praised 23mm R from 10 years ago almost? And does it live up to the competition of its own siblings, the 18mm f1.4 and the 33mm f1.4? Let's find out in my review of this lens. And since this lens has been out for a while, and I could only test it now thanks to a friend that bought it for himself, I won't be too specific with specifications and all of that. I'm pretty sure you know all of them by heart. So let's go straight to the nitty-gritty of this lens. From a build quality standpoint, this lens is very similar to the 18mm f1.4 that you see over here, or the 33 that you probably know by heart. And even from a size standpoint, compared to the 18, it's pretty much the same size. The 18mm is a little bit taller and a little bit fatter, just because the front filter on the 23 is 58mm, the front filter on the 18 is 62. But other than that, they share the same construction, the same design, the same everything. It also the same weight, basically, because they both weigh 370 grams. 375 one of the two and 370 the other. Anyways, similar thing. You get basically all metal construction, weather sealed lens with clickable aperture ring that has the lock that we're all got used to with the new lenses in the Fujifilm lineup, and the manual focusing ring that you see over here that is well dampened. And other than that, there's nothing special about this lens. It's probably a little bit bigger than their older brother, but all the new primes from Fuji have been a little bit bigger than the previous versions. But at the same time, the linear motors in the autofocus and a lot of quality that these lenses have, and we're going to talk about image quality in a second, kind of justify the difference in weight and size and in price also. From an image quality standpoint, we have the same pattern that the 18mm and the 33 got us used to. Basically, the lens is almost perfect, already wide open. At f1.4, the center is already super sharp. The corners are already sharp, although not as sharp as the center, but very, very sharp. And you get a little bit of an advantage stopping down only at f2.8, where you get rid of the vignetting that is a little bit visible on the wide side of the aperture. But other than that, the lens is a great performer corner to corner straight from f1.4. And basically, this means that you're not stopping down this lens because you need from an image quality standpoint. You're stopping down this lens because you want, because of the story that you want to tell, because of what it is that you want to focus the viewer attention on. So these new lenses, these new prime lenses lineup has shown us that they get as close to perfection as it gets. Basically, the bokeh is very pleasing. There's not much chromatic aberration. There's no chromatic aberration at all. The flare is very well controlled. The sun stars are beautiful, although the 18 shows better sun stars. They're more pleasing to the eye. And in general, there's nothing really to complain about this lens. The only thing that kind of below par is the quality at its minimum focusing distance. But as soon as you get a little bit further away from the subject, that issue goes away. And the only issue is that the lens is not as sharp as it is at normal focusing distance. But other than that, from an image quality standpoint, this lens is great. And in general, like the 18 and the 33, gives you that three-dimensional look that not many lenses can give you. And it can do that not because of flaws, but because the lens is really, really well designed. Now, the fact that everything is done with in-camera corrections, because if you disable the camera correction, the camera profile, the lens profile corrections, then you'd see a little bit of distortion that you don't see at all when the lens is corrected. You see a little bit of more vignetting and some chromatic aberration. It doesn't bother me at all, because at the end of the day, that's how these lenses are supposed to be used. And so I don't know why anyone would disable all of these things in the image editing software. So to me, it's not a big deal. I know for some it is, but that's the way the market is going. And personally, I don't see any issue with any of that. Optically, again, a really, really, really great lens. When it comes to autofocus, again, very similar to the 18 and the 33, the lens performs really, really well. The linear motors allows for very fast, silent, and accurate autofocus. Most of the time, if you miss focus, is because of user error or the camera algorithms that are not perfect in some situation. But other than that, the lens focuses really competently, and I cannot really complain about the autofocus. Even the tracking works really good. Of course, it's a lens that you don't use for sports unless, I don't know, I cannot figure out what sport you would photograph with a 23. You usually go super wide or super telephoto, but again, it's a lens that you don't use. You mostly use for everyday use, weddings, home stuff, celebrations, anything that is at normal distance, and in that condition, the lens is super, super, super reliable. When it comes to video, again, very similarly to the 18 and the 33, the lens performs really well and is one of the best lenses for video that you can get in the Fujifilm lineup. Basically, the lens focuses very smoothly. It's probably one of the best when it comes to focus transition. I used it not as much as I used other lenses for video work, so I may be biased because of those few occasions that I used it, but I saw that the focus transitions were really, really good, and the autofocus was tracking really good as well. And at the same time, what I saw is that basically there's no focus bleeding at all. So from this standpoint, the lens works perfectly. Like the 18 is a great lens, it's a lens that I love, but when it comes to focus bleeding, suffers of a more pronounced focus bleeding. In this lens, you basically have no focus bleeding at all. The one thing that would make this lens a little bit better would have been a declickable aperture ring, but you all know Fuji is not giving us that option. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but other than that, it's a really good lens for video, and I would have no issues at all using it professionally for pretty much anything that you can think of. Now, if you follow this channel for quite a while, you probably know that my most loved lens of all time is my 18mm f1.4, which, by the way, is not recording me right now. I'm using a different setup. If you want to guess, write in the comments below. Now, going back to this, my preferred lens is the 18-1.4. I consider this lens to be one of the best lenses of all time, at least among those that I could try. So using a lens that falls in the same kind of shooting scenario, yes, it's narrower, it's a 35mm equivalent compared to the 28, but it's not that much different. Kind of puts the 23 in competition with one of my preferred lenses, and that may be a bias in my idea of the lens. And the lens is built basically the same, it performs basically the same, it gives you the same results pretty much in every scenario, and it kind of probably a bit better when it comes to video because of the less focus breathing that I talked a few seconds ago. Yet this lens is not the 18mm. It doesn't I don't know what it is. I feel like the 18 is my lens. This one is a great lens that I would use no problem for work, but it's not a lens that I would always go to. The 18 kind of, I don't know what it is about the 18. Honestly, I cannot find a specific thing that makes me want to use that lens all the time, but this lens is not that. It's a great lens. It's a perfect companion to the 18, the 33, and the new F56 F1.2. It makes a whole range of prime lenses that are really, really good and can be swapped easily, even on a gimbal and all of that. I mean, the 56 is a different story, but the 18, 23, and 33 are pretty interchangeable. They give you similar result. They give you similar behavior when it comes to video and photos. It's a great combination of lens. Between the fact that I'm not a 35mm shooter anymore, I used to love my 23mm on the X100 when I first bought it 12 years ago. But now I moved to different focal lengths. This lens is great, but it's not my lens. Probably if it was a 27, now I know I'm being like, yeah, the 4mm don't make that much of a difference. I know all of that. But to me, I find myself more comfortable with the 27. That's why I want to try the Viltrox. I will sooner or later, but that's a story for another video. So great lens. To me, is 100% approved. If you're a 35mm equivalent shooter on an APS-C on Fuji, it doesn't get much better than this. This is almost a perfect lens that can get you great videos, great photos. It's portable enough. It's super high quality. It's built like a tank, and it's never gonna let you down. Believe me, it's not gonna let you down. That's it for today. I'll keep loving my 18mm, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know in the comments below what do you think about this lens, if you have this lens, if you've had issues. It's definitely a huge improvement over the previous one. I forgot to mention that. It's a huge improvement over the previous one. Other than that, I think I told you everything, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao!